sends a wide receiver in motion. They fake the fly sweep, and Newman's in trouble. He's going to be sacked. Sacked by Drake Thomas. Hits the rugby punt, and it will be fielded by Thayer Thomas at the 25. He moves left, now right, and up the middle to the 40-yard line, 45-50, 45-40 to the 30-yard line. He's going to go all the way, 10-5, touchdown, Thayer Thomas, 75 yards.
So I played for the North Raleigh Bulldogs, the Pop Warner team in North Raleigh. I started when I was 5. And my dad was like an assistant coach my first year. He wasn't really the head guy. And then my second year, he really took over as the head coach. But you can't really play until you're 5, so Drake was like 2 years behind. So Drake would come to every practice and participate in our practices at 3 years old. And he would practice with us, and then on game day, he would just be on the sideline, like probably was like a water boy type.
Yeah, I dressed up and everything like for like game days and stuff. I was just like technically wasn't allowed to play, but like one game at the end of the season, my dad put me into the game, and I was like 4 years old. So
you put him in illegally.
Yeah, I played deep safety. That's what they said when they would put me out there when I was 3.
Well, I think football's in our blood. You know, we always grew up. I remember specifically watching. You know, my dad played with Troy Brown, and we would follow the Patriots. You know. We went to 2 preseason games when they came to Carolina the year after they won the Super Bowl in 2004, and so we got to meet Troy Brown, and we got to meet Ty Law back when he was playing with the Patriots, and my dad just sort of surrounded us with football, watching football on Sundays, Saturdays, and stuff like that, and going to different college games. I remember me asking my dad if I could play football. It wasn't my dad telling me I needed to play football.
Yeah, we were always around it growing up when we were little, and we wanted to get out there on the field. It wasn't that he pushed us to get out there.
Saying that we're family, but then having family members on the team is unique. The Dabbs brothers, the Thomas brothers, the McKay brothers. I mean, it's neat walking behind them as they go to the practice field and seeing these 2 brothers with their pads on talking, and like, how awesome is that? That every Thanksgiving for the rest of their lives, they're going to have those memories of playing college football together. I think it's awesome, and I think it says a lot about our program, because obviously if one brother comes and 2 years later another brother comes, that tells you there's good things happening, or the parents would go, well, I'm not letting my other one go there, I mean, no, they want them here because of how their sons are being treated, coached, mentored, developed, and I think that's great for our program.
So back probably 8 years ago, football was a little bit different than it is today, like especially youth football. My dad had like tackling drills like every single day at practice. Doesn't matter. It's the day before the game.
Full go,
like
to the
tackling drills to the ground. And so we would do this one specifically. It was called King of the Ring. And so it was like a 4x4. You would put cones, it was like a 4-corner cones, and you would get 2 guys in the middle, and whoever drove each other out of the ring, wins. And so I think he would split it up into 4 groups throughout the whole team. So it was like, 10 guys here, 10 guys here, 10 guys here, 10 guys here. And the winner of each group would come to the middle to like the final 4. And so, I would usually, if I didn't make it to the final 4, it was like, it was I needed to do it just so I could try to impress my dad, and then I felt like I needed to do it. So, but when Drake was there one time, he made it to the final 4 with me and these other kids, but he matched us up. And at the time I was probably bigger than Drake.
Yeah, I was like 5 and he was like, I was like 6 and he was like 8 or something like that.
Yeah, probably turning 9 or something. I was just more physically bigger than him, and I remember driving him, like I won, and then like he was on the ground and I kept driving him into the ground like 5 seconds after the drill was over.
He didn't stop.
And I didn't stop, and I remember he was like crying, and I was like, my dad was like, what are you doing? Like, because I just wanted to beat my little brother. And that was probably like one of the only times I actually, was able to drive him into the ground, because obviously now it would probably be a little bit different.
I mean, we would like wrestle or something in the house. He couldn't beat me. He's never been able to beat me in like if like we were fighting or like wrestling or something since.
I wouldn't say either of us honestly won. It sort of ended in like a tie. But I would say the one thing I do remember was when I was a junior in high school and he came into high school as a freshman. He had all these senior and upperclassmen, thinking they're really good at football and stuff, and I'm just like, I knew how good he was at football, and I was like telling them that he was going to play varsity, and they're like, yeah, right. Like, and then ended up by the first game, he was a starting linebacker as a true freshman. So his first varsity game was actually my first varsity game, because I wasn't fortunate enough coming into high school being, as giftedly as big as some of these other kids were. So I had to play JV. but he ended up was able to play varsity right out of middle school.
Seeing what he's done and the work he put in, and the fact that he was still going to continue to get better, bigger, faster, stronger, and I mean there was just no doubt in my mind that he was going to be able to come in and earn a spot and get playing time and get a scholarship. And when he first got here, it was definitely good to hear from the coaches and stuff that he was doing well, and he was definitely turning some heads and making an impact.
And how you gonna persevere through it at the end of the day?
Football is everything, pretty much. I mean, it's who we are as a family. It's what we do, all year long. It's what we dedicate ourselves to. It's what we dedicate our lives to, like our family. It's what we put our time into. It's helped us meet new people, build new relationships. It's helped us open new opportunities and doors to get to different levels of our life and have different opportunities to open up because of football. And it's just crazy to think that a game has been able to do what it's done for us. And it's a blessing to be where we are today because of football.
My daily actions, reflect my passion and love for football. I just feel like football is always and will be in our bloods. We have a little brother too that we go support we go watch him play every Thursday night. We travel wherever he's playing. We usually go. That just shows how much just sports in general means to us. I just think sports in general is one of the best things this life has to offer, because it just brings together a bunch of guys who probably wouldn't meet if it wasn't for sports. So you gain brothers, you gain friends, you gain lifelong memories, and so I just think that's one of the best things about it.
It's a man's game. It's competitive. It's pressure cooked. It's exhilarating. It's defeating. It's agonizing, and sometimes it's all those things in one day. So it's a roller coaster, but it's the awesomest thing there is, and it's the most gratifying thing there is when you overcome the adversity that we're going to have to overcome this year right now, whether we win or lose. Just we get better and better and better and better.